my secrets are safe with me.
Welcome to our 1225 First Four News Conference here in Blacksburg. Our Wednesday night affair will feature 12th-seeded Vanderbilt taking on 12th-seeded Columbia. We are joined by our Vanderbilt student-athletes, Jordan Cambridge, far side of the table, Ayanna Moore in the middle, Sasha Washington closest to me. Vanderbilt finished 22-9 overall, 9-7 in the SEC coming into NCAA tournament play. As a courtesy to everybody in the room, as well as the student-athletes, please silence your cell phones at this time. When you ask a question, provide your name and your media affiliation each time you ask a question during press conferences. We are on Zoom today, so if you are joining on Zoom, please use the chat function and we will address questions in the room first and then get to you on Zoom as time allows. Recording press conferences, video recordings of press conferences are prohibited inside the press conference room. To receive a copy of today's press conference, go to ncaa.veritone.com. We will open it up to questions for the Vanderbilt student-athletes. And we will have a microphone going around the room. We'll bring it to the front here.
Hi, Chris Kasky, Vanderbilt SID. This question is for Jordan Cambridge. Jordan, just how much does getting to the NCAA tournament in your final year at Vanderbilt mean to you after everything you've gone through with missing 2 seasons with the injuries and being in college for 6 years, being the first 6-year Commodore? How does it feel to just end your story here in the NCAA tournament?
It feels amazing. I have obviously been waiting for this moment for a very long time, and I think it's amazing that I get to go out with a bang and do it with my teammates in my final year of basketball, and I just can't wait to play tomorrow and keep playing on after that. It's really special, and I'm really excited for it.
Chris, do you want to go again?
This question is for Sasha Washington. Sasha, this is a familiar foe that you're going to have in the first 4 game against Columbia. It's a team you all played last season in New York City. Just how much do you think that familiarity with them and that proximity of your last game is going to help you all prepare for this game?
Yeah, so we're just excited to play them. We know that we've matched up with them well in the past, and we're going to match up with them well again. And we're just excited, and we've prepared, and we've come ready. So I think it'll be really good for us.
Ayanna, you're from Murfreesboro, Tennessee, really close to Nashville. You've grown up watching this program play in the NCAA tournament, win games in the NCAA tournament. How much does it mean to you, being from Middle Tennessee, to help Vanderbilt get back into the NCAA tournament for the first time in a decade?
It means a lot. It's the main reason I came to Vanderbilt, to help rebuild a program, and to see us go into the NCAA tournament with people that I love. It's like a really great feeling. I've never had it. I have nerves. I'm just really excited to be here.
Love you too, Yana.
I'll ask a question here. I think in an era of college basketball where movement between schools is the norm, the transfer portal is wide open, you three are really a testament to staying in a program, building a culture, and now being rewarded here in the NCAA tournament. What does that continuity for you all mean, and to see this moment for your program that you've worked hard for? We'll start here on the near side.
Yeah, just knowing, like, the three of us, when we all got here, I know that we had a vision, we had a plan, and just sticking to that and seeing it come through is really just the best thing, because, every place has its ups and downs, but just staying true to what the vision has planned, it's been awesome for us.
Ayanna?
Yeah, to piggyback off what Sasha said, we knew what it was when we came into this program. We knew we wanted to be a part of a rebuilding program. And just for us to be a part of something that's very special, coming back to the NCAA tournament after a couple of years, it's just a really good feeling, especially with these people that I know. Like, we put blood, sweat, and tears into it, and it's just really cool to come back and do it on a big stage.
Jordan?
Yeah, they really hit it on the head, but also to add to that, especially for me, Nashville is my city. It's my hometown, and Vanderbilt is just a great university. And when I think about my life beyond basketball, there's no better place I'd rather be to set myself up to do the things I want to do, accomplish the things I want to accomplish in life. So there's no reason to go anywhere else, because it doesn't get much better than the basketball, the city, and the university.
We have a Zoom question, so we will answer that Zoom question. And I will unmute.
Andrew Wilf, Vanderbilt Hustler. Jordan, can you talk about, I know you spoke briefly about coming here and building this program, but can you talk about the emotions you all had and the entire team had Sunday, and just to hear your team's name being called?
First, it was amazing to even be able to have a watch party for something like this. Obviously, it was my first time doing it. Honestly, my heart was racing the whole entire time sitting on the couch. I'm just like, okay, when's our name going to get called? But it was exciting when they finally called our name. I just remember just being like so ecstatic, jumping up and down, celebrating with my team, and the fact that, again, I get to do this in my final year. It's amazing, and I'm excited to be here with my teammates. I'm excited to be here with our coaches, and I'm excited to see how far we go.
Another Zoom question coming in here.
Hey, it's Paul Scarbina from the Tennessee, and I'm pinch hitting for Aria, who's on the road to see you guys. Ayanna, I noticed when you guys came into the room that you were singing, looking pretty relaxed. How relaxed do you feel as relaxed as you look?
Yeah, I mean, we worked really hard to get here. No one thought we could get here, so I feel like I'm real relaxed. We just got something to prove, and like everybody in the room believes that we can do what we can do. So just go out there and do it.
Which song were you singing?
It's called Secrets.
Okay.
Anything else, Paul?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay. Elena on Zoom, I will unmute you. You can go ahead.
Ayanna, I'm curious what you think of Columbia and how you guys match up with them, considering they're a really guard-heavy team. Just what do you look forward to against playing these really good guards tomorrow?
I think just keeping the main thing, and that's focusing on us, going out there prepared, having our game plan well executed, knowing personnel, keeping ourselves together, but just really focusing on ourselves. I think that's the biggest part. Never really looking too deep into what they do. As long as we keep ourselves together, collected, focused, knowing personnel, knowing scout, we'll be good.
I will have some additional folks to allow into the Zoom if you give me just a moment. Well, while we're figuring that out, I have a question, and we'll stay here with you two. Coach Ralph has a long championship pedigree coming here and building a program. What lessons has she imparted on you about getting to this moment and performing in an NCAA tournament setting?
There's so many. I mean, I feel like every day we learn something different, and I think like the biggest things is if you want to be a competitor, you have to compete every single day. You have to show up every single day. You have to be the player that you want to be every single day. You have to be a good teammate, and you just have to show up for your team, because at the end of the day, like, you can get yourself where you want to be, but only you can believe that, and it only goes how far you believe it. So I think that's just the biggest thing that I've learned. I know she's pushed me way out of my comfort zone and taught me so many things. So
Sure. Ayanna?
The biggest thing, I think, is she taught us like energy and effort really can go a long way. As long as we have those two things, win or losing, we never want to say, oh, they beat us. We want to say we gave a hard fight, things like that. So she really just taught us that having energy and effort, playing hard, playing for each other will take us a long way.
Jordan, this question is for you. What's the best defensive advice you've ever gotten to become the player you've become?
That's a great question. Honestly, it's kind of one of those things where, to me, defense is a mindset. It's nothing that is physical. Obviously, knowing personnel helps a lot, but it's kind of just like if you want to do it, you do it. And it sounds like easier said than done, obviously, but for me, it just kind of happens like that. So I feel like my coaches is being like, you know what you do, we know what you do, just go out there and do it. I know it sounds really simple, but that's just how it is for me. There's no strategy behind it. I just kind of go out there and say, I don't want you to score on me, so I'm going to do everything to not allow you to score on me. So
You live it, and it's been passed down to you as well.
that too. It's also in my bloodline. So
Any other questions for our Vanderbilt student athletes, including on Zoom? we'll go to Chris here from WSMV. I will allow you to talk, and you are unmuted, Chris.
Great. One question for any of the girls, really. Coach Ralph on Sunday night talked about how this group, she talked to you guys about how this group is the one that laid the foundation for what's to come success-wise with the program. Just curious how much pride you guys take in that, of being kind of the cornerstones for the trajectory of this program possibly going upward.
Obviously, there's a lot of pride in that, and we obviously know where we came from. So obviously, I've been here the longest, so I know where I came from the beginning to where I am now. And then obviously, when they came in 2 years or 3 years after I'd already been here. Anyway, obviously it's prideful, but we also know that we've put in a lot of work to get here, and we didn't just kind of like wake up one day and be like, oh yeah, we're in the NCAA tournament for the first time in a decade. It didn't just happen. So obviously there's a process, and obviously, you know, it's very prideful to know that we helped Vanderbilt get to where it is today. But the process, I think, is what's most important to like all of us, because we can look back and say, wow, we started here, but look at us now, and look where we're going to continue to go.
Any other questions on Zoom or in the room for our Vanderbilt student athletes? We'll give it a second. Seeing all hands are down, you're free to go. Good luck tomorrow night against Columbia.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Vanderbilt head coach Shay Ralph will be next in the press conference room. Once again, Hammond Communications will post a recording of this press conference and all press conferences in the NCAA Digital Media Hub at ncaa.veritone.com. Transcripts are provided by ASAP and will be posted shortly. Travis Mark got in. I don't have control over that.
Jack it off. What?
We're joined by Vanderbilt head coach Shay Ralph, a 7-time NCAA champion, making her 20th NCAA appearance with her Commodores tomorrow night. We'll open up the floor to questions for Coach. We will also have questions on Zoom as well. Chris, if you want to begin.
And Chris Caskey, Vanderbilt Sports Information. Coach, just how excited are you to have your team here after a season where you were preseason picked last, collect 22 wins and have one of the best seasons here in a decade. Just, how happy are you to lead Vanderbilt here to March Madness?
We are obviously very excited to be here in this position. From the moment that we got this team together, this was our goal, to compete in the postseason in the NCAA tournament. And the goal of our program as we move forward is to compete for championships. So this is a great step in the right direction, and really proud of my team because I think our body of work this year has been excellent. And you can see individually and as a group, we're growing, we're improving, and we're ready for the moment.
Before we began the press conference, we listed all of your accolades here in March in the NCAA tournament at UConn. How will that experience help prepare the team as you get ready for this run in the NCAA tournament?
I think when you look at preparing for the NCAA tournament, when you've been there as many times as I've been blessed to be there as a player and a coach, one of the things you start to understand is that you have to operate like a champion always. You don't get to the NCAA tournament to March and then think that you're going to do championship things. You have to be a champion always. So we're trying to teach our kids that operating like that is a day-to-day thing, whether it's in the summer, in the spring, in the classroom, in the community, on the court. We want to be champions. So what we're doing here is nothing different than we've done all year. We prepare the same way, we scout the same way, we practice the same way, we treat our kids the same way. We are ready for this because we've been preparing for this since the summer, and I want my players also to feel comfortable knowing that when you get to these moments, all the things that you have done have made you ready. We're not going to get ready here. We are ready. Now we're just fine-tuning and getting ready to play Columbia tomorrow.
And speaking of Columbia, it is a very familiar foe with this program. The two teams played last season in New York City. Vanderbilt was able to come away with a victory in that. How much is that close proximity to the last game going to help with the preparation and the scouting for the first four matchup?
I think when you look at both of our teams from last year, we were very different. Both of our teams were very different. I always like competing against programs that want to be excellent as well. I have a lot of respect for Columbia and the job that Megan's done there. I also have a lot of respect for Vanderbilt and the job that we've done here. And I think that, we both, I'm sure, are excited to be here. And now it's just a matter of rolling the ball out and playing.
We'll go with Andrew, then Elena, then Mark on Zoom. Andrew, we will start with you.
Andrew Will from the Vanderbilt Hustler. Coach, can you talk about Sunday being there and all the, it was exciting and hearing your team's name being called. Can you just talk about those emotions and seeing Jordan and Bella have that opportunity?
Yeah, it's funny. My team and the people that are in our program know I'm a pretty laid-back person. So leading up until that evening, I kept joking with my staff and my team, like, why are you guys nervous? Why is everybody nervous? And then I walked in the room and I was like, oh my God, I'm a little bit nervous. And it was only because I wanted it so bad for our team. And then when you walked into the room, I knew we were going to be okay because we had, our team was there, our staff, our coaches, the people that always travel with us, but we had a contingency from Vanderbilt that was unbelievable. The support system that we have there, our administration specifically, Dr. Candace Story-Lee, and all the things that she's done for us from the moment that I've stepped on campus. You could feel that energy in the room. Our players felt it. We had a blast. And then obviously when our name was called, the celebration began, but not in that moving forward, more of a celebration of our season and understanding that we really earned that moment. We enjoyed it. And then we were up late into the night trying to figure out how we were going to get here, which was fun as well. So it was a very exciting day, moment, something I'll remember forever, mostly because of the way that our players experienced that moment and seeing their faces.
Elena, you're up next, and you are unmuted.
Elena Morris, VandySports.com. Coach, you have a lot of experience in the NCAA as a coach at UConn, but what advice are you giving your players since you've experienced this when playing at UConn in college?
Hi, Elena. That's a good question. I think that there's not much advice. Yeah, and when people give advice, I'm always wary because my experience in college is a lot different than their experience in college right now. in a lot of great ways. I mean, the tournament has grown, our game has grown, exposure has grown, media has grown. I want them to enjoy the moment, but I also want them to keep their head down and work. One of the things we've been talking about since towards the end of the season is trying to eliminate distractions, not worrying about things that really don't matter, and focusing on the things that we can control, which is our preparation, our focus, our work on the court, our enjoyment off the court of each other and of the position that we're in. So right now, I'm telling them, this is why we do what we do every day. Nothing is different other than we're in the moment that we've worked for all year. And now I want them to enjoy it, but I also want us to make sure that we stay focused on our preparation and nothing else.
Mark, then Paul. Mark, you are unmuted.
Congratulations on making it to the NCAAs in Blacksburg.
Thank you.
Obviously, losing season last year, what was the key to turning this program around and getting to the NCAAs this year?
The key, there's a lot of keys. There's a lot of things that needed to happen. There's a lot of things that we wanted to happen, but probably the two most important things were patience for myself and our staff and our players, and consistency in our work. The world that we live in now is very much an instant gratification kind of world. I mean, I can go on Amazon right now and have lots of fun things waiting at the hotel when we get back after practice, and that's just the world that our kids live in. And what I'm trying to get them to understand, not only as a basketball coach, but as a human being, is that great things, really great things, are hard to get. It takes time and effort, and sometimes even when you work really hard, you don't get them. But it's not about the result, it's about the process and who you become through that process, relationships that you build, the type of person that you can become dependent on to be day in and day out will serve them well for the rest of their lives. So while our job here as basketball coaches is to compete for championships, and that's what I love to do, I'm passionate about basketball, I think we also are trying to focus on that bigger picture. And once we got our players to understand that this is a process, yes, we want to come in here and win, but that may not happen today, tomorrow, next month, and next year. Let's just keep our heads down and do the work every day. There was a little bit of not pressure taken off, but relief and understanding. Let's just get a little better every day. Let's focus on who we can become through that. And then when they picked their eyes up and looked ahead, it's been, a year out, and we're exactly where we wanted to be in that first meeting I had with the team when I got on campus. So it is exciting for me as their coach, for them to see that hard work does pay off. It pays off. And great things do take a lot of time sometimes and a lot of effort and energy. But if they can learn that and only that, then they're going to be okay for the rest of their lives.
When did you realize you might have an NCAA tournament team on your hands this year?
I always think we're going to win. I always think the teams that I'm going to coach and the players that we bring in are going to come in and want to compete for championships, and it's just a matter of what do we need to do to get there. So I would tell you that the day after we lost last year, in early March, my staff, I was not a fun person to be around last March. And we were very focused on making sure that we were competing this March in the NCAA tournament. So in that moment, and then when we got our players on campus, was also exciting. We got them on the court. We're like, okay, I think we could be pretty good. And now it's up to us not only to help them, but also, to not screw it up.
What are the strong suits of this year's team?
I'm sorry?
What are the strong suits of this year's team?
I think we're pretty gritty. We have more weapons offensively. We're a little bit more versatile. I love our defensive intensity. But when I get that question, I think more about intangibles. So I think obviously we have more weapons in terms of offensive production. I think our players have improved. But when I watch my team practice and when we talk to them about how we're going to win games, it's more about grit and resilience. And throughout the seasons, we've taken punch after punch. This year, we went on a little bit of a skid in the SEC. Early on, we had to fight to win some pretty tough games. And I think that just developed our team into a really gritty, resilient bunch. And that's who we are. I think that's probably our best asset.
Paul, you're up next. You are unmuted.
Hi, Shay. Paul Scarino from the Tennessean. I'm pinch hitting for Aria today. I guess she's on the road to see you guys. I'm curious, when you took over, I mean, obviously physical capability is a big part of basketball, but I'm curious about how much attention was paid to changing the mindset and kind of believing that you can actually win instead of just talking about it.
Yeah, that's also another great question. It's a layer of what I was talking about before, Paul, like about, making sure that we focus on the process. So one of the things we had to do when we got in was really, people talk about rebuild and all that. It was more of a healing process for this program, because remember, this was right after COVID too. So, our team in particular was one that had opted out. We had a bunch of kids that transferred out that played a lot of minutes and scored a lot of points. And the other players, I think, just wanted to be sure of me and my intentions with them as their coach, on and off the court, the staff that I was going to hire, the vision that I had for the program, and then for me, asking my team to be consistent and patient. I have to show them what that looks like. I think when you're a leader, you can't ask people to do something that you won't do yourself day in and day out. So the things that I asked my team to do, that particular team, I showed them what that looked like every day. This is what I want you to do. Let me model it for you. This is what I want you to do. Let me model it for you. So it was more of a building a trust in them, and also me elevating the level of expectation and standard of our work ethic on and off the floor, in the classroom, of our involvement in the community, of how we treat each other. And I think that they really appreciated that. So when we came in, it was us, me, showing them an investment. This is what it looks like to have a championship culture. So that doesn't mean win, 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 win at all costs. That means I'm going to show you what it looks like to work hard to hopefully get the results that you want. But no matter what, this is who we're going to be. This is how we're going to act. This is how we're going to represent Vanderbilt University, and this is who you're going to elevate yourself to be on a daily basis. And they really loved that. I think they really needed that and wanted that, responded to it really well. That gave us the opportunity to show a little bit of improvement and then continue to bring in the pieces that we knew we needed to get where we need to be on the basketball court so that we could be more competitive in basketball games.
I had just one more. Excuse me. You talked a little bit about nerves on Sunday. Yeah. But today, your three girls walked into the press conference at the NCAA tournament singing, looking very relaxed, looking like they're actually living in the moment and enjoying it. I don't know if you saw that when they walked in, but is that the mood that you kind of are getting from them, the vibe, I guess?
It is. Good word. It's a vibe, right? They love to vibe. That's their vibe. It is the mood that I see a lot with them. It is a mood that I encourage. I want them to feel relaxed and confident because I want them to feel prepared. And so we talk about this a lot. They know who I am. They know my expectations, my standards, and they know that I do want them to enjoy this moment. But they also know when we go out there to practice in about 10 minutes that we're going to get an hour and a half of really good work in. And that encourages, after we get off the court, that encourages that mood of confidence and freedom because I think our players know that we're ready.
We've got time for two more here. Next Gen, please identify yourself and your outlet.
Gabrielle Lewis, the next. Coach Rolfe, Vanderbilt has been in this tournament 27 times, but nothing in the last 10 years. Can you speak to what it means to be back, in March Madness?
I can. First of all, I'm really happy to be back here because before, coming to Vanderbilt, and I had some time at Pittsburgh, where the last couple of years we went back to the tournament, but this is what I know. This is what I know as a basketball player and as a coach. And one of the things that I was reminded of early on was that a lot of players, especially the ones that when we got here, they've never experienced this March Madness. There's players that play their whole college career, a lot of them, that never experience moments like this. I've been so lucky to know what it feels like and to compete for championships and win them. And I want so badly for our players to do that. But what I do know in the hiring process when I talked to Candace, our athletic director, was that is the expectation of Vanderbilt. We talk about maximizing our full potential as student athletes, as people. We talk about daring to grow. And Vanderbilt women's basketball has a tradition of excellence in competing for championships and being in the NCAA tournament. Candace had a very clear vision, as did I, of doing the same things, which is why I think it's been such a wonderful, even though it's been hard and challenging, it's been wonderful the last couple years because we have so much support outside of our program and administration. We have the same level of expectation and we have the same values. We're going to do it the right way. We're going to focus on doing it the right way, and then we're going to go out and compete for those championships. So yeah, it's been 10 years, but we're right back where we should be, and we're really excited about that.
All right, Chris Harris from WSMV has the last word.
Hey, Coach, I'm curious, are you much of a pregame speech type person? And since this is your first one as an NCAA tournament head coach, what will the tone of that be?
Yeah, I shockingly, because you guys know who I worked for 20 years, Coach Ariema is an incredible speech giver. I am not a big talker in general. I don't like to bore people, and I'm not exactly the speech giver that he is. I'm more an action person. I'm not let's talk about things. I'm more let's go do them. So one of the things that I encourage in our group, my assistants do a lot of pregame talks. I do a little bit more as well, like preparation and game planning. It's more of a group effort, which is what I want our team to see, and I expect from our team as well. I don't dominate the pregame talks, but I always have a few things to say that usually I don't share with the media, and I think that's the way that it should be. I am a fiery, passionate coach, but they're always going to get a positive vibe from me too. I'm just that kind of person. I like to operate that way. That's not who I am as a coach. That's just who I am. I have a really great staff. My coaches are awesome at going in and giving energy as well. So I want to make sure that our team feels it and hears it from everyone, not just me.
A little less conversation, a little more action for Shay Ralph. All right, Coach, thanks for joining us. Best of luck tomorrow night.
Thank you.
All right, that was Vanderbilt head coach Shay Ralph. The Commodores practice now. The Columbia News Conference will come up just after 2 o'clock Eastern Time. Thank you. Thank you. Best of luck.
Does it make you more comfortable?